Hello, welcome back to my channel. This week, I'm gonna bring you around my day in New York City. But before we get started, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up so that way we can keep on growing. Now I'm gonna take you around. I have a bunch of food, adventures, activities type things planned, and it's gonna be a fun, delicious time. So, let's go.
Our first stop was Cambodia Bakery & Cafe, which is in Chinatown, and we stopped for some breakfast type goodies. I got a coffee, which I intended to have black, but some cream and sugar found its way into my cup, so I started my day on a sweet note. Then we split a couple of items. First we had egg tarts, which were so creamy and custardy, and I'm a bit new to the egg tart game, but this solidified that I need to eat them more. Next we had a pineapple bun, which, contrary to my belief before eating this, does not actually contain pineapple. It's a sweet bun, which gets its name from the top design, which resembles a pineapple. And then lastly, we shared a mango sticky rice, which had chunks of mango inside and the texture of mochi on the outside. It was chewy and a great way to round off the first part of our day. Next, we went to Joanne Hendricks Cookbooks, where we were a little too early for their opening. So we ended up going on a nice long walk by the water where we saw some amazing New York City views. And then eventually we went back and shopped around. This is one of my favorite stores in New York City, just in general, because the collection of books is so carefully curated and each piece is a little peek into history where you can see what life used to be like. So some of my favorite finds on this day were this cookbook that was filled with recipes that use a blender, and then there were these little books that were titled The Little Book of Preserves and Pickles. And then there was this one, which I actually purchased. It's called New Salads, and you can look out for a video in my quirky cooking series. I'll link some of my quirky cookie videos down below if you're curious to check those out. Then it was time for lunch. We were in the mood for some dim sum, but we also wanted something on the lighter side, so we came to Nom Wah's second location. Their first is actually over on Doyer Street. You might remember me passing by it in my Chinatown video, and if you don't, then you should totally check that video out after this one. It's a famous spot for a good reason. We both ordered their ginger lemonade iced tea, and it was delectable. It was kind of like their version of an Arnold Palmer. And we also split a few items, which you will see is the theme of the day. We got scallion pancakes, which I ate with their house chili oil, and it was incredible. And then we had duck buns, which were soft and juicy. And lastly, we ordered some shrimp and pork dumplings, and they are truly as good as they get. Nom Wah is a famous spot in New York City because of its longevity and amazing food. So if you're looking to experience Nom Wah without a wait, then you should totally check out their Nolita location. Next, we moved on to our second vintage cookbook shop of the day. To answer your question, yes, New York City has not one, but two vintage cookbook shops. They're both lovely places that I'm slowly starting to frequent. This shop had some awesome finds like this Bach-themed lunch cookbook, but I ended up picking up this one called Sharing Recipes. It was compiled by an Ohio women's club, so you can also look out for some quirky cooking videos from this cookbook. Then we moved on to our main attraction of the day, the Queens Night Market. This was my first visit to the night market, and I can assure you it will not be my last. Our first stop was at Moon Man, and wow, what a way to begin the evening. We had an Indonesian coconut pancake with just coconut on top, and then another one with chocolate on top. And then we ordered sticky rice with ube and flaky salt, and a cassava cake with pandan. I mean, if you're only going to try one place out of this whole video, I think it should be Moon Man. Everything is naturally gluten and dairy free. The flavors are incredible, and it's really a great spot to take someone who wants to expand their palate, but they just don't know where to begin. Then my friend ordered these salt and vinegar potatoes. I didn't try any of them, but she made a beeline upon arrival to get them, as did a line of other people. So there is some type of hype around these twisted potatoes, but let me know. Should I try them next time? Our next meal was from Nanson's, which was an Afghan comfort food place. This was my first time trying Afghan food, and I was pretty excited to give it a go. We ordered the rose mint limeade, mattu, kabuli palo, shornakid, and if you were paying attention closely, one of everything. The limeade wasn't too sweet, and it was really refreshing, and especially with the chickpea dish because that had a little bit of a kick, so it was nice to have something to cool it off. The mantu surprised me because their dumplings texture almost reminded me of a noodle. It was unlike any other dumpling that I've really had before, but I loved that it was paired with a garlic yogurt and almost like a focaccia type of bread, which was also delicious. The rice dish was also really good. It reminded me kind of like of a biryani just because of the meat and flavors that were in the dish. So if you're looking to try some Afghan food, I definitely recommend this place. Obviously, it was my first time trying it, so I don't have anything to compare it against, but everything was really delicious and flavorful, and honestly, not too far out of my comfort zone. It was almost familiar, even though I had never had Afghan food before. Then we decided it was time for some Tibetan food, which if you have been following me for a little while, then you know I love Tibetan food. And there were a few items that caught my eye. There were these dumplings that had vegetable and cottage cheese inside, and then I was curious about this sweet pasta with barley and dried cheese. It sounded like a sentence I would never hear, so I had to give it a go. The sweet pasta was actually sweet, but it wasn't sweet like sugar, it was just not savory. My friend and I were trying to figure out what it reminded us of, and the closest we got was that maybe it tasted like a sweet coconut rice. So if anyone has had this dish before, let me know what you think of it, or if you have any guesses of what it might be reminding us of. The dumplings were also awesome, and my friend ordered the rice noodles, which she said were also delicious. Then we got some Taiwanese popcorn chicken. They also had this really cool fantasy style map of Taiwan at their stand, which I thought was just honestly pretty awesome. We selected a medium spice level for our popcorn chicken, and it was perfect. It was more of a dry spice, and I think that they used Chinese 5-spice or something that's fairly similar to it. It had a crispy and crunchy texture, and it was a good item to grab if you want to wait in another line for another vendor, but still want to have something to snack on. It was delicious, and I definitely would come back for it because it's simple, flavorful, and so crispy. Then we were ready to round up the evening, and by the time we got to the Szechuan ice place that we wanted to try, they had sold out. So instead, we got this fruit salad which had jicama, carrot, mango, kiwi, and peanuts. If there's anything I learned from this dish, it's that peanuts go really well in fruit salad and that carrots can hide in plain sight. This was refreshing and really satisfying after a full day of eating. But wait, there is one more. We made one last stop to Malaysia Project for a kaya toast. If you've ever wondered what a sweet grilled cheese would be like, I would say that this is pretty similar. It's just filled with pandan instead. It's decadent and crispy, but also flavorful and satisfying, and I couldn't imagine a better way to end a rather tasty day.
Hello, I have returned home from my lovely food-filled day. I had so much fun at the Queen's Night Market. Everything was delicious, but if there's anywhere else in the city that you want me to check out, comment down below where, and I will be sure to check that out soon. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up so that way we can keep on growing, and I will be sure to catch you next time. Bye!